So next important complication of prematurity, which we are going to discuss, hypothermia. Let's say how the mechanism of heat conservation works in neonates. It is slightly different from adults and older children, because in older children and adults we have shivering thermogenesis. That is, whenever the temperature is low, we shiver, and by shivering different muscles contract and they generate heat, and that's how we conserve heat. But neonates, they don't know how to shiver, so the mechanism of heat generation is quite different in them, and that is called non-shivering thermogenesis. So the primary mechanism of heat generation in neonates is non-shivering thermogenesis. So how this heat is being generated? So there is a special kind of fat which is called brown fat. Point is very important because this question has been asked many times. What are the regions or what are the locations in the body where brown fat is located? So this brown fat is located around nape of the neck, interscapular region, blood vessels, renal and suprarenal glands. So whenever there is decrease in temperature, this brown fat gets mobilized from these regions and it generates increased amount of ATP, which generates energy. So this mechanism of heat generation or conservation, I should say, is called non-shivering thermogenesis. Right? Now hypothermia can be potentially fatal, and it is very important to prevent heat generation, prevent heat loss as soon as baby is born. If you remember, while we were discussing neonatal resuscitation, I told you that even before the baby is born, as soon as you enter into the room, you put a linen under the radiant warmer, and that is to warm the linen. And you should always receive the delivery in a pre-warm linen, because if baby was inside the womb, the temperature was 37 degrees. So as soon as the baby is coming out, even if you are maintaining an ideal temperature of 25 to 26 degrees, there is straight 10 to 12 degrees difference in temperature between the uterine temperature and the external temperature. So the chances are there that the baby will lose majority of the heat and will go into hypothermia if not adequately taken care of. Right? So where should we measure temperature? So temperature measurement. Obviously, if we are labeling any baby as hypothermic, we have to measure the temperature. So the most ideal way of measuring temperature, which is an indicator of core body temperature, is rectal temperature. See, it reflects core body temperature. But again, since it's an invasive procedure and most of the institutions, they don't have rectal temperature, rectal thermometers, we don't use them. Nowadays, tympanic membrane temperature is also a very effective method. Tympanic membrane thermometers are available, and they are also almost as accurate as rectal temperature in telling you the core body temperature. The ones which we are using in our day-to-day practice are axillary temperature. So we are using axilla, and ideally we should place the thermometer with its bulb pointing towards the apex and should keep the thermometer there for at least 3 minutes. Important, at least 3 minutes. Though this thing is becoming again obsolete because nowadays we are having digital thermometers. They will already give you an alarm once they detected the body temperature. So this value of 3 minutes is becoming obsolete. But if you are using a mercury thermometer, then you have to keep for at least 3 minutes. So depending upon this body temperature, there is grading of hypothermia. How do we grade hypothermia? Normal body temperature varies between 36.5 to 37.5. Very important. Because if you know what is normal, only then you can tell what is abnormal. So the first is mild hypothermia, also known as cold stress. Important. Cold stress. Cold stress means clinically peripheries are cold but center is warm, and objectively the temperature varies from 36 degree to 36.4. This is mild hypothermia. Second stage or second grade is moderate hypothermia. Here the temperature varies from 32 degrees Celsius to 35.9 degrees Celsius. So this is moderate hypothermia. And severe hypothermia is less than 32 degrees Celsius. So what are the ways in which we can prevent hypothermia from happening? So prevention of hypothermia is very, very important. So one method I already told you, use of pre-warmed linens for delivery, right? Second, labor room temperature. This also we briefly discussed during the neonatal resuscitation. Labor room temperature should be regulated at the value of 25 to 26 degrees Celsius, right? And dry the baby thoroughly. Because as soon as the baby is delivered, he is soaked in the amniotic fluid. And as soon as that amniotic fluid is evaporated, we all know that evaporation leads to cooling. So it takes all the heat away with it and leave the baby in hypothermia. So that's why thorough drying of the baby is very crucial, and don't forget to dry the head also. Because in neonates, head to body surface area ratio is maximum. Very important. And that's why the maximum heat loss takes from the head. Then use of radiant warmers. Use of incubators. Incubators again are the special degree of warmers, but they are mainly used for transportation. Whenever you are transporting the baby, let's say from labor room to an intensive neonatal unit, you use incubators. These are used mainly for transportation. Then adequate clothing. So use caps, very important, because I already just mentioned that head is having the maximum surface area and maximum heat loss takes place through the head. So cover the head and use socks and hand gloves. Then another very important mechanism or method to prevent hypothermia, mainly in premature babies, is KMC, Kangaroo Mother Care. We all know like how kangaroos keep their babies inside a pouch, and this is the same mechanism which we are nowadays using, and it is very effective in preterm babies to prevent, not only to prevent heat loss, so it has many other advantages. First of all, it prevents heat loss. It helps in gaining weight, and it improves maternal lactation, and it helps in increasing bond between mother and baby. So what do we do in Kangaroo Mother Care? We ask the mother to wear a loose gown, and we ask to keep the baby on her chest naked with all the clothes removed of the baby like a kangaroo. And we recommend mother to do it at least 3 to 4 times in a day. And the advantages which it has we already mentioned, and let's understand with the help of an image. So this is a pictorial description how a Kangaroo Mother Care looks like. In this particular example, they are twins, and both of them basically utilizing Kangaroo Mother Care simultaneously. So this next image is showing you a transport incubator. As you all can see, it has various apertures. So these apertures are basically to do any procedure, or if you want to do any intervention, you can use these apertures. And there is another inlet here on the other side. There is a small hole here through which you can pass the oxygen tubing. Let's say if you need to transport the baby on oxygen, then you can do that. Suppose if the baby is intubated and you want to transport the baby on bag and tube ventilation, then again there is no need of removing the baby outside. You can just put your hand from this apertures, and there is an warmer inside it already to maintain a euthermic state, right? So this finishes hypothermia. Thank you.